Hi, and welcome back to our channel. We have some unfortunate news to share with you. We came into the van one night and we turned on our Maxx Air vent fan and we heard an awful sound. It sounded like something was slipping. The fan was trying to kick on. We tried to kind of rush to turn it off, but we couldn't get it off, and all of a sudden we heard this thunk, and this chunk of metal broke off and landed on the screen up here on our Maxx Air fan. We called support and they asked us for the serial number for the vent, and we told them what it was, and the guy said to me that it was a 2018 model, which was surprising to us because we ordered it from Amazon less than a year ago in 2020. So word of caution, when you order something, don't assume from Amazon, I guess, that it's brand new. It's been, wherever it came from, it had been sitting on the shelf for a while. So anyway, he told us that those older models have a tendency to actually have this problem where they break. They have since upgraded with new parts, so that's unfortunate for us. They were also out of stock on those that part that we needed. So he said it would probably be a few weeks. We waited and waited and didn't hear anything, so we followed up, and then, so this was probably a couple months ago, we finally followed up again, and he said, oh, we should be getting the part in about 10 days. So about 12 days later, I followed up again. He said, oh, it's been shipped to you. So great. So we finally got the part, and Steve is going to try to tackle fixing it. It's a little bit overwhelming, daunting, thinking of doing that. We weren't sure if they would send a whole replacement fan, but it was just a part. We're hoping that it's not going to be too difficult. So Steve's going to show you today, and we'll see how it turns out.
After waiting for 2 months for the part to show up, the day finally arrived.
So let's crack this box open and see what we have inside.
Being the first time I dealt with something like this, I was mixed with joy and angst, as I wanted to have a working fan again, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Something funny I noticed with this instruction booklet that they sent with the replacement part. If you'll pay particular attention to the page numbers, starts with page 1, and that seems to make sense, right? Oh, page 11. Then we go to page 3. And then, yep, page 9. Page 5. You know, that's important. Page 7. Page 6. 8. They like to keep you guessing. 4. 10. 2. 12. Just in case you weren't confused enough. And then the actual part itself. And also this little guy.
Now that all the parts were accounted for, it was time to get started. The first step is to make sure you have the fan in the open position. You're going to want to get yourself onto the roof. I like to protect the van by placing a mat down before leaning a ladder against it. Once you are safely on the roof, the next step will be to remove the 2 rear hinge screws. This will allow the rain shield to swing downward. Next, you will need to release the lifting arms from the 2 upper brackets. Make sure to save the 2 white nylon bushings, as you will need to reuse those later. Next, you will need to remove the 2 screws that hold the operator mechanism to the body of the fan. Next, you're going to want to remove the broken operator from the lifting arm. As you'll see with ours, it shattered into a few pieces.
So that's where that extra part that they sent along comes into play. That looks like it's pretty well intact for me, so I don't know that I need to replace that. Well, it looks like when these things break, they pretty well shatter. Now I have to remove the spring off the operator.
How's it going?
All right. So far so good. Hopefully I can put this thing back together the way I found it.
Is it pretty straightforward?
So far.
Oh, that's good. Be nice to have that fixed.
Yep. With the operator in this position, you're supposed to turn this clockwise until it stops, and then turn it back counterclockwise until these two are parallel to this piece. Next, you're supposed to reattach your spring.
Next, you'll want to attach the new operator to the fan base by carefully aligning the teeth of the operator into the gear and then screwing it down. Once the new operator is attached, you'll need to head back inside. Since the fan is now in the closed position, you'll want to open it. Now reattach the spring to the lift arm. After that, reattach lifter arms to the lid, making sure to use the white bushings you removed earlier. The final step will be to reattach the rain shield with the 2 rear hinge screws. Before hooking it back up to your power source, I recommend manually opening and closing to make sure everything is working as it should.
Alright, well I think that does it. Next thing to do will be plug it in and to see if we have any fireworks or not. Or springs that didn't exist before start flying in every direction. People taking cover, calling for backup. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
I think he was pretty worried about that process, but I knew he could do it.
Let me clarify, I was plenty worried.
I guess we'll have to check and turn things on to make sure, but so far it's looking pretty good. Sounds a lot better than before. It's so nice to have a working fan again. Ah, nice breeze. So nice to have it fixed. How do you feel about this moment, Steve?
I feel pretty good. Boy, is that nice to have off the list. Took forever to get that part.
Oh my goodness.
And being a rookie at everything, Van, this was no exception. So, man, does that feel good to have figured it out, take out the old one, put the new one back in, and now everything's working. And now the police are after me.
Run! So that's great news that Steve was able to fix this van. We appreciate you tuning in once again. Thanks for following along. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Pages were all out of number. Luckily I had that email with the directions. They were a little more clear. More clear? More clear. Clearer, more.
Pretty worried about doing this, but I knew he could do it. And it's nice that it didn't take too long. Hopefully it'll still work right once we actually turn it on, but so far it looks good. You can't do that because then you're talking up on a ladder again. I think this deserves some high fives.
Little stowaway.
Keep saying that. Now you face the wrong way. You have to come out. We came into our van the other night. Well, actually it was...
Let's wait for the plane to go by.